Welcome back. You're watching HFO-TV, co-sponsored by AMF Capital, the Baljanik Law Firm, the Beutler Exchange Group, and the construction firm J.R. Johnson.
Welcome back to HFO-TV. I'm Greg Frick, partner at HFO Investment Real Estate, and we are practicing social distancing now. We're in here about the end of April, almost the 1st of May. We've been 45 days in this stay-in-place thing, so I do have a mask, as you can see. And we're just not going to wear it because we are doing social distancing right now, and it's a little easier to talk and do interviews this way. But we're lucky to have Toija Beutler of Beutler Exchange Company. We're going to talk a little bit about kind of the new regulations that have happened. First, before we get into that, hopefully, you're doing okay and your family's doing all right during these crazy times.
Everybody's well, thank goodness.
Good, good. We had talked before back in beginning of March about the potential of some of the regulations on exchange timing changing with the pandemic that we're in. Maybe you could give an update of where that is and what that means for clients who may be in an exchange and maybe going into an exchange.
Right. So let me first kind of mention what the deadlines always have been.
Yes.
Is that when the sale of the relinquished property closes, clock starts ticking. Our client has 180 days, almost 6 months, to close on replacement, but only the first 45 days of that 180 to identify the replacement property.
Right.
So, those deadlines are what they are. We usually tell people they're carved in stone. Now, the only exception to that has ever been federally declared disasters. Historically, that's been hurricanes, tornadoes, fires in California, and historically, when there's been a disaster of that type, federal declaration, mind you, not the state.
So it's got to be a federal declaration to get the extension. Or get something.
Got to be federal, and those events have been like single-day event or a 3-day event, very isolated, very geographically limited. So when we've had those kinds of events, not often, but when we have, the IRS has kicked out extensions of the 45 and 180, and those extensions have been 120 days added to the 45, and 120 days added to the 180.
Okay.
180, that gets you 300 days.
Got it.
In this case.
Now, usually does that mean are you already in the ID period, your relinquished property is already closed and that's when the extension happens?
Good point. Their exchange would already have closed.
Okay.
And they have to be in an affected area. So
Gotcha.
if it's fire in California and you're in South Carolina, it's not going to do you any good. The exchange has already had to have closed.
How does that work when you say you're in the effective area?
Good point. There's multiple criteria.
Okay.
Our client in the affected area, the subject property in the affected area, their tax advisor in the affected area, their lender in the affected area. There's any number of components that might enable the taxpayer to take advantage of that 120-day extension. So with this event, naturally, we were hoping that we would get extensions similar this time around. However, I think to be efficient, Treasury kicked out extensions for any number of tax filing deadlines and extended everything to July 15th. So for 1031 and a whole bunch of other tax stuff, they gave us an extension till July 15th. Well, first of all, this is not an isolated event. It's ongoing. Wasn't just a single day, it's ongoing. And we know in real estate how that hurts us. So an extension to July 15th has been helpful to some of our clients. Again, they have to have a 45-day deadline or a 180-day deadline that falls between April 1st and July 15th.
So it's got to be within that time period when your 45-day or 180 is in play.
Correct.
Okay.
And they're entitled to the extension. I will say this, not all of our clients are taking advantage of the extension. Most are. But in a limited circumstances, clients will stick with the old deadlines and not take advantage of the extension. So they have a choice.
But if their 45 days have already happened, say, February 28th, they're 45 days up, their 180 was within that time frame. It's not like, can they go and re-identify? Or are they stuck with what they identified?
If the 45 was prior to April 1st, they don't get an extension of their 45-day deadline.
They'll get an extension on the 180 deadline.
Maybe.
Maybe.
That's
Okay,
right.
got it. Okay.
And what we've had is a situation where the 180-day deadline fell on July 13th. Big deal. They got an extension for 2 days to the 15th of July. The extensions, as they granted them, don't make a lot of sense in the context of a 1031. And so we have gone back to Treasury with a second letter asking that they give us the kind of extensions we have had traditionally. To know that this letter that went to Treasury was signed off by like 19 different real estate banking associations. And so it's not just the 1031 industry, but 19 various associations that have asked for extensions. In fact, the tax section of the American Bar Association, they too have been in conversations with Treasury and the IRS about the fact that these extensions to July 15th are not very helpful under the circumstance.
Right, okay.
So that second letter went off about 2 weeks ago. I am an optimist always, and I am hopeful that we hear something by the end of May. By the end of May. And we're hoping that they see this as an ongoing disaster, which it clearly is, and that they grant some extensions that are more useful to our clients. So I'm hoping within the next 30 days that we get some sort of help from Treasury, from the IRS. That's kind of where we stand today, though.
So in terms of, I know you said there had to be, for the previous times they've done these, it was a federal notification.
Federal disaster.
Federal disaster, got it. Okay, so then does that, from a state standpoint, or the states just follow along in terms of the 1030, like in Oregon we have, does they just kind of go part and parcel with the federal disaster?
Oregon definitely is tied to federal. They'll follow federal, and the vast majority of states follow federal. I haven't certainly checked the 50 states to see if there's anybody that opted out. I rather doubt it. I suspect all states are following federal on this.
So for clients that are in the middle of an exchange now, there'll be some clarification, we hope, like you said, in the next 4 weeks. We're recording this at the end of April, maybe by the end of May. We would have more of a guideline. Are they going to go past this July the 15th that we just talked about?
That's exactly right. And we certainly, with our clients, we've got maybe 250 files active in this office. When we got our first set of extensions, we reached out to every one of those clients, letting them know, and we're having one-on-one conversations with each about whether they want to take advantage of the current extensions. As I say, some do, most do. We certainly, if we hear again of the extensions we're hoping for, we'll be in touch with all of those clients again. We certainly get the word out to our database as well.
Right.
So we'll be getting the word out the moment we hear something.
Well, and then, so thank you for the update. So I guess for clients out there that are in the middle, contact your 1031 accommodator. If you don't have one, get a hold of us, get a hold of Toija. She can get some information to you about that. Again, it may be changing, like the kind of the world we're in now, but it's, it's good that they actually put something down, but maybe we can get something that's a little bit more workable for the, the real world application of how these 1031s work.
Right. And again, to say that the folks that have gone in and asked for better extensions, sorry to say, but they're powerful lobbies. And National Association of Realtors, CIM, and on and on. So it's a powerful voice being heard by Treasury and the IRS.
Okay.
So we'll keep our fingers crossed on that hopefully this, okay. Well, thank you again for sharing that information. It's very vital. And again, I hope everybody's safe and we can get through this thing together and kind of come out on the other side and see what happens.
Happy to be here today.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Bye, Toija.
Our entire office specializes in multifamily real estate, making HFO the largest multifamily brokerage in the Pacific Northwest. Your success is our passion. Build your legacy with HFO. Call 503-241-5541 or visit our website at hfore.com for more information.